In the long, roaring saga of American muscle and motorsport, there are cars that were built for the streets, cars that were built for style, and then there are cars that were built with a singular, ruthless purpose to dominate the racetrack. The Ford Talladega belongs to that final category. It wasn't built for the boulevard, it wasn't built for cruising on Friday nights, and it wasn't built to attract envious glances at stoplights. No, the Talladega was built as a weapon, engineered for one of the most dangerous high-speed battlegrounds in motorsport history, NASCAR's superspeedways. And in 1969, Ford created a machine so slippery, so aerodynamic, and so fast that it didn't just compete. It changed the sport forever. The story of the Ford Talladega begins in the late 1960s, a time when NASCAR was evolving at an explosive pace. Aero wars were heating up. Manufacturers were no longer content to simply drop big engines into big cars. They wanted something more, a competitive edge, a breakthrough, a form of mechanical warfare that would give them victory at almost any cost. Chrysler had made early moves with machines like the Dodge Charger 500, but Ford wasn't about to let their rivals capture glory unchallenged. Something had to be done, something bold, something radical. That something was a car named after the fastest, wildest, and most unforgiving racetrack ever conceived, Talladega Superspeedway. Even before the track had its official inaugural race, Ford engineers were in dark rooms sketching, calculating, sculpting the future. They weren't building just another trim level. They were building a homologation special, a street-legal racing car created solely so NASCAR would allow its aerodynamic body to be used in competition. These were the days before wind tunnel access was easy. Engineers relied on intuition, experience, and fearlessness. And the result was a car that looked similar to a Ford Torino, but in reality was something altogether different. The Talladega began life as a standard Ford Fairlane/Torino, but almost nothing about it remained standard by the time Ford's engineers finished. The nose was stretched forward, reshaped into a sleek, purposeful beak designed to slice through air with an efficiency that other muscle cars of the era could only dream about. The grille was recessed, the bumper was rolled and extended, and the front fascia was lowered to decrease lift at high speeds. It wasn't pretty in the traditional sense, it was functional, aggressively, unapologetically functional. Fun fact, the Talladega's entire front clip was formed by hand. That's right. Real human workers in Ford's Atlanta plant physically reshaped the fenders, hand-fitted the extended nose, and massaged the panels into aerodynamic perfection. No robots, no lasers, just skilled craftsmen turning standard sheet metal into NASCAR-ready weaponry. Under the hood, the Talladega didn't hold back. Most came equipped with the 428 Cobra Jet V8, an engine with the kind of raw, muscular torque that seemed almost dangerous in the wrong hands. It was the same 428 that had made the Mustang Mach-1, the Fairlane Cobra, and other Ford performance machines into street legends. But in the Talladega, that engine had a mission: push the car to the edge of physics on the high banks of America's most extreme racetracks. This wasn't just a matter of stuffing horsepower under the hood. Ford modified the entire drivetrain to withstand the brutal conditions of NASCAR superspeedway racing. Engine cooling was improved. Suspension geometry was refined. Even the transmission and rear axle selections were influenced by race engineering. The Talladega wasn't built to look fast. It was built to survive at speeds that made most drivers' palms sweat. Fun fact, Ford repositioned the rocker panels on the Talladega, lowering them and giving the car a natural aerodynamic advantage. It sits lower than almost any other muscle car of its era, not because of springs or shocks, but because Ford literally tucked the body down lower on the frame. This subtle change meant everything at 190 miles per hour. On the street, the Talladega felt like a strange hybrid of refinement and brutality. It wasn't as flamboyant as other muscle cars. It didn't have flashy stripes or bright colors. It didn't scream for attention. But the moment the engine fired up, the moment the driver felt the weight shift and the nose settle, it became clear what this car was meant for. The Talladega was a race car wearing street clothes, a gladiator disguised as a commuter. Only about 750 Ford Talladegas were ever built. And that wasn't an accident. NASCAR rules required manufacturers to build a certain number of street-legal versions in order to qualify their aerodynamic designs for the racetrack. These rules are the reason legendary cars like the Plymouth Superbird, Dodge Daytona, and Chevy's Aero Specials exist. The Talladega stands proudly among these giants, and in some ways,